Okay, so the objectives for today are, we want to define pharmacovigilance and explain its importance to healthcare. We want to give you pharmacovigilance information about adverse drug effects and adverse events. Identify the role of us pharmacists in pharmacovigilance and local tools used to report pharmacovigilance. We also want to learn the procedure for adverse drug reaction reporting. First, let's look at the definition of pharmacovigilance for those who are not aware of it. And those who are aware, this is a reminder. Pharmacovigilance is the science and activity relating to the detection, assessing, understanding, prevention of adverse drug effects. It is all about safe and effective use of medicine or any other medical related problem. Likewise, it is therefore an activity contributing to patient protection and public health. So here are the key components of pharmacovigilance. They are detection, as mentioned, assessing, understanding, and prevention. These components help identify adverse drug effects or other safety concerns. By assessing, you want to evaluate the seriousness and the frequency of potential cause when one is identified. You want to analyze the need to report, and once you've analyzed that, we want to document and be aware of recalls. And lastly, as health professionals, pharmacovigilance helps prevent unintentional effects that a drug can produce, so we need to take action by daily checks and balances. So here's a question. Why is pharmacovigilance important after a drug is approved for public use? So you can either raise your hand if you're in the room, or online, you can post your answer in the chat. So here are the answers. I will give you 15 seconds to think about it. Now, don't all raise your hands at once, but if you know me, I may call on you. So go ahead and act quickly. Good. I love this. 3 hands, keep those up. Go ahead. Excellent. Who else? Me? Okay, congratulations. You all give your hands a round of applause. You are all correct. All of those answers listed are the answer. So, why is it important? It limits trial data because of limited trial data. So clinical trials can capture everything about a medicine, cannot capture everything about a medicine in the real world. It also involves small groups. Therefore, by being vigilant as pharmacists and physicians and healthcare persons, we add to the body of information after the drug is introduced to the market. We can have a real life setting, so we're able to catch interactions, misuse, storages, continuous monitoring. It ensures drug safety remains favorable over time and leads to label updates, usage restrictions, or recalls of a drug. So therefore, it is important to all of us here. It also protects the public health. Ongoing vigilance shows commitment to patient care. As we all know, we are in the patient care era, so let's all be committed to helping reinforce when drugs are identified as a problem after it's released to the market. Okay, just a little bit more to reiterate the importance. So, it protects patients from harmful side effects. It improves health outcomes, especially public health, and support rational use of the medicine. It informs regulatory actions, updating safety warnings or withdrawal of unsafe drugs. So what do pharmacovigilance cover? Adverse drug reactions, medication error, counterfeit drugs, and long-term effects. In essence, pharmacovigilance is about collection of undesirable effects, adverse events, and adverse reactions, continuous monitoring of drug products, offer health benefits and prevent risks, defining measures to keep benefit risk profile are favorable, thus reporting events and reactions from the above areas can update prescribing information for doctors. So we all are participating in the post-marketing of drugs. So now that we know what pharmacovigilance covers, here's a deeper dive into its content. Firstly, let's define adverse drug reactions and adverse events, which are the primary components in which you will report. Adverse drug reactions are a response to a medical product which is noxious or unintended. This reaction may arise from the use of the product within or outside the terms of the marketing authorization, hence label use and unlabeled use of a drug. Whereas adverse events are any conditions not pre-existing at the time of treatment initiation or that may worsen during the treatment. Whether it's a sign, guys, a symptom, or a diagnosis, this would be an event to report. An adverse event can therefore be any unfavorable, unintended sign. An example would also be an abnormal laboratory finding after a patient begins a drug. So here is additional information that should be reported. So let's just pay attention to the table. You want to report if it's a pregnant person taking a drug or a mother breastfeeding. It could be a common symptom or a normal symptom, but that is something to report to the pharmacovigilance team, either at your pharmacy or wholesale company. Overdose, that also must be reported. So that is the list. I don't want to go through it, but just be aware that all of those are a part of pharmacovigilance. It's not limited to just adverse drug event reporting. Okay, for those who may not be familiar as much, I gave you a slide here. This shows you what are signs. Simple as redness and itching. What are symptoms? Something simple as headache and dizziness. Diagnosis, a patient comes in and said, I've taken Motrin and I've been wheezing. Someone taken Motrin and they're having joint pain. That is something to report. That is a part of pharmacovigilance. As well as someone who has a pre-existing condition, they may start to get worse. We as pharmacists now need to look. Why? What drugs are you taking? How could one of your drugs be the problem? Once you've done your research, it's time to report it. Be a part of the team that prevents a drug from causing harm to patients. So, question time once again. Is there an active pharmacovigilance system in the Bahamas with the Bahamas Pharmacy Council? So, I want a little bit more collaboration. So, can we have a show of hands who think it's true first? Online as well as in the room. Those who think it is true, do we have an active pharmacovigilance program through the Bahamas Pharmacy Council? True? Hand show? Okay. So, false, show of hand, those who think that information is false. I have 1, 2, 3. Oh man, go to the front of the room. What does my online audience says? The ones who live in there. That's it. Okay, so online, I understand you're not a part of the island, but all those who said false are actually true. But this answer is, it has a yes and a no. So, at the current time, it is false that they're not a part of the Pharmacy Council. But we have a pharmacovigilance system that's a part of the Ministry of Health. So those who didn't know, you can report through the Ministry of Health in the Bahamas. Okay, so moving on to the important information, identifying the role of pharmacy in pharmacovigilance and the local tools used to report adverse drug effects. So with that said, with our role as pharmacy technicians and pharmacists, how do we obtain this information easily? So we would speak with patients. Each visit, inquire about how they feel after a dose of their maintenance medications. We want to do medication reconciliation more often, as we're not in the pill counting era, are we? No, we're in the patient care era. So when a patient comes in, we want to go through their list of medication. We want to determine if there are interactions. Did you know they should be reported?
Yeah.
Now you know. Please help us become better at what we do. You're going to report when there is an interaction between their drugs. You know, we would say take this one 2 hours later, 3 hours. It's an interaction and it should be reported, because this interaction the patient may be doing their own thing, taking it all at once. So if you report it, it becomes a body of collective information for the region and for the local authorities to consider, does this drug need a black box warning? So that's just a tidbit into why we should contribute more. So likewise, it helps identifying high-risk patients. It's, as our role, it is important to document, as I said. By reporting, you are documenting, because you're going to take into account all of the information about the patient, the drug, the dose, and the reaction. So it is our job to document. We're going to use national or regional reporting systems. An example would be VigiCarib. And we're going to follow up and communicate with our patients. So it is the pharmacy team responsibility to know how to report an adverse event or reaction. We want to develop and follow SOPs, standard operation procedures. So each retail pharmacy, hospital pharmacy, wholesale pharmacy, let's develop standard operation procedures if we do not have to aid in pharmacovigilance here in the Bahamas and in the region. We also want to promote and cultivate a culture of drug safety awareness within the pharmacy body. So, question time again. Is the regional pharmacovigilance system in the Caribbean called VigiCarib? Y'all got the answer ahead of time. However, this was just to capture those who wasn't listening, but I'll just reiterate to all of those online and present, VigiCarib is our regional reporting body or platform for adverse drug reporting, as well as substandard drugs and falsified drugs. So feel at ease that you can either go through the Ministry of Health or online to report any issues with drugs. So here's an example of our local reporting form. I got it from the Ministry of Health. So with this form, you can fill out, and the form can also be emailed to the Ministry of Health. The person responsible for that here is the CMO. So if you need the email, once this presentation is over, feel okay to come and address me and I will give you it so that we can be a part of pharmacovigilance here in the region. So this is an example of our VigiCarib form. As you know, all information is collected and uploaded online and sent for local gathering of details. So, regional reporting platforms. So we also have VigiCarib, but we also have MedWatch and VigiBase. Reports can be submitted, as I said, electronically through those platforms. You can report adverse drug effects. They also have vaccine-related events also for those working in the Department of Public Health, or suspected poor quality or fake medicinal products. As you know, parallel import is prominent throughout the region at this time, so it is important, if you identify that a drug can be substandard, that you use this reporting platform and get the word out there so that drug can be held. At this current time, the Ministry of Health tries to send out emails, so stay tuned to your emails. If you don't get any, I would say let's approach Dr. Gina Achikeri. She's able to give you that information if you need to know if there is currently a substandard product being sold here in the Bahamas. So when reporting, you provide details such as the drug, what happened, when it happened, and any other relevant history. The report goes to CAFA, which analyzes and shares data with the WHO Global Monitoring System. Even if you don't have every detail, like the exact batch number, you should still submit. Leave missing blank fields and just put N/A, and that information can reach the monitoring centers. So, like I said, how to report, if you don't want to go on the VigiCare platform, you can email your answers. You can get a blank sheet of paper. Let's just be a part of this team. Fill in the information, batch number, drug jump number, patient reported, symptom reported, and let's just email it on, and let's be a part of that body that helps prevent drug effects. So, question time. In a telephone conversation, your relative mentioned that after injection of a flu vaccine, he noticed redness at the injection site. Should you report this to the Pharmacovigilance department? Everyone raise their hand who feels the answer is A. Online as well. How many A's you got? 2. Anyone else feel that the answer is A? Do you need to see the question again? You good? You're A? 3 A's? So in a telephone conversation, your relative noticed redness. Should you report? Your hand is up, Gina? Should you report it?
No, I don't think you need to.
So A, no, redness at the injection site is common reaction. What did our online guest say, Tristan? Mo said A, no, it's a common, oh my God, you all are so wrong. But it's okay. That's why we are here today. The answer, apparently, you should report even when a very common expected side effect like injection site redness occur. You are to report it. The frequency does not matter. The pattern does. A side effect that is normally mild, short-lasting, rare, or moderate in frequency might suddenly occur more often than what was seen in clinical trials. Pharmacovigilance teams compare your report to historical rates. If redness jumped from 5% to 25%, that signals a potential manufacturing issue. Maybe a cold chain deviation, maybe formulation change, or an administration technique problem. Hence, we want to report it all. Okay? So what we're gonna do, report it all. Excellent. So just a little bit more information explaining why you should report. It detects unexpected increase in frequency of that effect, to identify the quality or batch specific problem, to monitor trends over time, to confirm real world safety profile. International regulations require the reporting of all adverse effects. So those in wholesale like me, we're responsible for reporting to all of our manufacturers any effect that has occurred. And this helps the manufacturer, helps us to protect them, and it also protects the manufacturers legally. Because they would say, we found out that 50% of Bahamians are now having headaches while taking Motrin. This drug probably isn't working in the Bahamian market. Let's reformulate for that region if they make for this region alone. Or, I don't want to leave out the rest of the Caribbean, they may find out that a product in Jamaica is causing more nausea. What do we want to do? They want to now investigate, and they now need to decide if they need to pull their drug before someone sues them. Because once you're watching Cable Bahamas, you see every 2 seconds the FDA filing a lawsuit on a common issue in a drug. But the manufacturer has to pay when an issue is identified and they do not address and pull the drug. So bottom line, report the event. Let the PV team decide if it's significant. So reporting procedures. Use standardized forms to report your adverse drug effects. As I've noted earlier in the presentation, you can use the one provided by either the Ministry of Health or those in the region, you can use the VigiCare website. You want to include name, batch number, symptoms, and other outcomes. Submit promptly to the quality team and the competent authorities in your region. So, who should report? A report can come from any source that provides safety information about a product and is equally important. Whether it comes from a health professional, a patient, or consumer, a regulatory agency, or another manufacturer. So, how to report? We discuss local and regional forms. Thus, you must remember to list patient data, as you would see, the problem, which is the effect observed or reported, details of the drug, and identify yourself and the institution that you work at. And this will help you report. So, the importance of documenting. When reporting, you must document. When identifying an error, an event, you must document. That is a part of being a pharmacovigilant pharmacist. So, reporting ensures traceability of all adverse events. It supports regulatory audits and reviews. It also enables effective corrective and preventative actions, and we definitely want that. The WHO requires healthcare professionals to promote, establish, and encourage collaborations. So we're all on board with WHO. Once we promote the reporting of ADRs, we establish pharmacovigilance centers, and we encourage collaboration amongst doctors, physicians, and manufacturers. So let's join the WHO. Let's join CAFA. Let's try to report pharmacovigilance errors and events with drugs. So we have a question here again. How can pharmacists help build a stronger culture of medication errors? So let's have a raise of hands in the room, and Trishna can get a tally online. All those for A, by independently changing physician prescriptions to reduce workloads. That's a given no. B, by actively reporting medication errors and near misses, educating staff, promoting safe medication practices. Can I get a show of hands for B? B. What does online say? B. You are all correct. Awesome. So we definitely want to do that. So, okay, as pharmacists, we want to build a strong culture of medication safety. As said, we are in the patient care era, and we want to contribute positively to patients as we serve them and as we interact with them. Final notes. Pharmacovigilance is vital for public health. Every report counts. Be proactive. Ask your supervisor if in doubt. So as I end, I want to say this. For those who are young like me, you may not be aware, there was a drug called thalidomide that was catastrophic. It harmed many patients in the late 1950s and early 1960s. Pregnant women took a drug that was meant for nausea and had babies defected. This was thousands worldwide. Let us not be a part of that group of people that contributed to that catastrophic event. There are drugs out here right now that require our assistance. So can we assist the pharmacovigilance team regionally and locally by providing safe drugs to patients? Thank you.